Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the second edition of LIVRESQ Empower Your Teaching. My name is Raluca, and I will be your host this evening. Some of you we've met last week. Others are here for the first time, so welcome. Now, before we begin, I would like to kindly ask you to keep your microphones turned off during our meeting, but please ask your questions in chat because I will be looking at the chat and we will answer any questions you have live. Now, I'm very happy to see you all here, and we are here not just to talk about LIVRESQ, although we'll be showcasing how AI is implemented in LIVRESQ later on. And for those of you who don't know, LIVRESQ is an excellent e-learning authoring tool designed with teachers in mind. But we're also here, as I've announced 2 weeks ago, actually, at our first edition, to also talk about education and teaching in the digital age more generally. And the topic for today is a very popular one when it comes to everything, but also when it comes to education and teachers. And that's AI in education. And we will focus on teachers and on how these latest technological developments impact education and teaching. We will also, again, be looking at how we've integrated AI, but I'm actually very lucky today because we have a wonderful guest. Her name is Smriti Vasistha, and she is an experienced teacher trainer and the academic director of ITC International. ITC International is a training center located in Prague, and it is a place where teachers from all over Europe can take part in a wide variety of really amazing courses. But I will let her introduce herself and her work because I'm sure she'll be able to give you much more information. Welcome. So happy to see you.
Thank you so much, Raluca. So my name is Smriti, that's how it's pronounced, to get over with that part. So yeah, we do a lot of teacher training courses, and our latest course is about how to use artificial intelligence in education. And we also have courses about inclusion, universal design for learning, and we are located in Prague, but we also have other centers in, I believe now, in Barcelona, Helsinki. We also used to have trainings in Paris. So you're welcome to any of our centers. We have a code for our AI courses in the image below, so you can scan it and see what other courses also we have. And you will be most welcome to join us. So I'll hand it over to Raluca.
Yeah, because we've actually met like this. Smriti found out about LIVRESQ through some Romanian teachers who participated in one of her courses. So, and there are a lot of topics. I'll actually add a link in chat because they have a course now in AI, about AI and teaching in the AI age. So I'll add the link in chat, but I also would like to invite you to say a few more words about that course, just to give our listeners an idea of what it entails and what it's about.
Yes, so the course, first thing, I think the course begins more with demystifying what you think AI is about, and also about the psychological aspect of it, the mindsets, because when you talk about AI with teachers, the first emotion that comes is about fear that AI will replace us. So this is why we are here to tell you that it's not going to replace the teachers, us. It's more about like an assistant and how we can use AI to enhance our own performance. There are so many tasks as teachers that you don't like doing, grading, checking, any of the repetitive tasks which you do even out of the school hours, which you don't have so much of time, you're not even being paid for those. So those tasks, AI can help us to do those for us, and we can concentrate on how best to deliver our lectures and how best we can engage our students, personalized learning. So that's what the course is about. It teaches you how you can use it to help you. And also, in the end, we will also talk about how you're going to implement it, and we'll help you with that.
That sounds really amazing. I'd like to take part maybe a week in Prague. I think it takes a week. It lasts for a week or a few days. Yeah. A week in Prague sounds really amazing. But this sort of fear and transformation and everything education is going through now with this development has brought me to our first question, which is how do you see AI transforming the landscape of education today? So what transformations do you think will come up?
Well, we definitely need to rethink about how we teach. That's one thing. And second thing is, I would like to bring over here something like, you've all heard about Netflix, right? So I would like to make a comparison because earlier when we were watching like national television programs on that, there's something called viewer control, and we had no control over that. So we had to wait, for example, on Wednesday evening at 10 o'clock to watch Friends, just as an example. And then we had to wait for a whole week to see what's going to happen next. So this is what the students of today are also doing. If they have a question for the teacher, they wait. Like, maybe Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. and then they're going to meet the teacher, and maybe teacher has something else on their agenda and they don't have the time to answer individual questions sometimes. So this is how I see AI changing the landscape of education, that the students have more control over when and how they learn, at the pace and the path. And AI is more like a virtual assistant, which is there to give them the content knowledge. I don't see the teachers as content providers anymore, but the internet is there for that, and AI, and teachers will more focus on the 21st century skills, I would say. The communication, collaboration, critical thinking, creative thinking, the skills that we all need to be successful in real life.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting point, because when we started talking to teachers, mainly in Romania, about AI, this was a fear that was raised constantly of what will happen to my job, what is going to happen, what will I still be needed? And I think there's so much more to teaching, like you said, than just providing the content. It's this whole role of being a guide and of looking at the student and of being able to answer their needs. So yeah, those were some really excellent points. But in terms of practical things, have you encountered any sort of practical examples of AI applications in the classroom? Have you met teachers that have started to use AI?
Well, yes, the most famous one, and which is also for free, is ChatGPT.
Yeah.
So, and teachers have already started using in planning their lessons. It helps them. Also, it helps with personalized learning, because when a teacher is planning, so they see that they don't have so much of time to focus on each individual. And they want to make their lessons more interactive, more attractive for the students. And within seconds, if you have the right prompt, the right questions, ChatGPT can actually help you make your lessons much better. So that is a tool which I see most of the teachers are using, and also for feedback.
Yeah.
For getting feedback. Yeah.
So there are teachers who have actually started putting in their students' work, and they can get personalized feedback from ChatGPT, because this is the most widely used tool at the moment. It's also the tool we have integrated in LIVRESQ, which again I keep hinting to the part where we'll do practical examples, but it's really interesting to see how it sort of makes your life easier, because that is the role of technology in the end. It's not about replacing people, but it's about making their lives easier. And it's wonderful to know that there are teachers who are already doing this and who are saving lots and lots of time in their interaction with students in order to do that. But in general, besides this fear of being replaced, what do you think are some challenges that educators face and teachers in general face when they first try to integrate AI in their work?
Well, the first thing I think is that they feel that the students know more about tools than the teachers do. So that is their fear, that they feel that if they are integrating AI, the students are going to take advantage of the tool and they're going to like cheat. So the teachers have this a great fear about this whole thing about cheating and not really doing something by themselves, but just asking those questions to the chatbot and then copying and pasting it for them.
Yeah, I've thought about this a lot because so I'm an English teacher I was first an English teacher like you, and I thought, okay, so if the first thing I did in ChatGPT was actually ask it to write an essay according to like a set a requirement, and I just fed it the requirement and it wrote the essay. So it's what do you think is a way to prevent, students just taking essays? How do you think we should approach the whole idea of cheating? Because I mean, it's a fear, but it's also a justified fear in many ways.
That is true, but what I always ask is that there is always a why behind everything. Yes. So what is the reason that we are giving them essays? Like, why do we give them essays? What is the reason behind us giving them all these written assignments? That is what I want the teachers to think about. Like, answering this why, can they do it in another way where they feel that they have done it by themselves? For example, if we are answering the why, it's like, why do we need to give them written assignments? We need to see how the students reflect on something, how the students explain themselves, yeah, how they use the language appropriately, and how they justify their answers and how their thought process is, yeah. But now the question arises for the teachers. Is there another way of getting all these besides giving them written assignments, which can be done inside the classroom?
So yeah, there's a call for sort of changing the method, because this is a big change just as it is a big change in society in general, because really ChatGPT has taken over in many, many fields, and a lot of professionals across domains are talking about it. It also means that we as teachers should change the approach and sort of think of tasks differently. That was my answer then, but I couldn't really pinpoint practical things. I mean, I thought, okay, it's important also maybe to focus more on speaking and on asking them to develop ideas while they communicate, because I want them to be able to explain themselves and to give arguments for certain points. So all these things of like changing the entire perspective on learning, which is really exciting, because it's a time where we can really think about the why, like you said, like, why am I doing this same thing? What am I expecting the student to learn? What skills am I hoping they would get out of this? So yeah, I think some really interesting points. Again, if any of the people who are watching us right now or who are with us here on Zoom, if you have any questions or any comments, or maybe any concerns regarding AI that we haven't mentioned, so we just mentioned too, the replacing and the cheating, you're welcome to write to us and we'll answer them in real time. But still in this sort of field, this sort of area of cheating and of how we use AI, this is a difficult sort of general but difficult question on how can we ensure the ethical and responsible use of AI. I mean, should there be regulations set in place? Do you think there will be any regulations set in place?
Well, I think that some countries are taking it into their hands and they have banned the use of AI tools, especially ChatGPT. But this is something we just have to say now that it's here, it's not going away. So just banning it makes it more popular, basically, because this is what human psychology is. What is banned becomes more interesting for everyone. So everybody wants to see, so what is it that we need to see, you know? If you want to make a book popular, you want people to read it, just say don't read it. and
Yeah.
you'll see that more people are going to read it. So it's best, it's the same about, like, with using technology inside the classroom. Because if we say don't use technology in the classroom, the student feels some sort of a disconnect, because in real life they're using it all the time. And then they feel that whatever's happening in the class is not actually real world, and they cannot transfer knowledge into the real world. So it's the same with AI tools. We are the ones, as teachers, we have to prepare them on how to use it ethically and responsibly. That's where media literacy skills come in, and the 21st century skills, as I had just mentioned, about critical thinking and creative thinking. Because everything that AI generates is not like true. Sometimes it can generate made up facts as well, things that we want to ask, and it can create stuff. So this is where our role becomes very important. We are going to let them go out into a world where it's a normal thing to do, use AI tools. So banning them in the school, in the class, is not the right answer for that. But how to use them properly, appropriately, and responsibly, that is our responsibility now. Because they're going into a world where, for example, like if we tell them, okay, write an essay, how many times do they actually have to write an essay when they are working? We are
Yeah.
preparing them for the job market. So yes, we can tell them how to communicate with each other, how to work collaboratively, because teamwork is extremely important in companies today. So if we are preparing them for the job market, then this is what we are preparing them for: how to use those AI tools to enhance us as humans and our work.
Yeah, and critical thinking, because we actually have a question in chat. It says, I'm more concerned about the fake links that ChatGPT is providing to the users. And I think by fake links, you might mean fake information in general, or not necessarily fake information, but sort of misguided information, which again is where the whole idea of critical thinking comes in, because there's already a lot of fake information online, even sometimes appearing in trusted sources. Sometimes they retract what they said, but even sources that we consider are trustworthy sometimes publish. And it's a huge topic on fake news, for instance, because I think most big news outlets have made mistakes, which they have acknowledged. So it's kind of the same with AI. The whole idea of teaching students to sort of cheat, if you will, if you want to call it cheating, but to use it intelligently, to look at it and sort of see, okay, could this be true? Maybe I should check again. Maybe I should check in a book, look for something, actually not just take it with a grain of salt.
Yes, question everything.
Yeah,
Which
exactly.
also goes, as you said, even for in the other terms of media literacy, like everything that the advertisers are saying, or the politicians are saying, or the teachers are saying, we have to question everything. We have to teach them how to question everything.
And I think this is such an essential tool, and AI is giving us such an important opportunity to address that. It can even provide, ideas on how to do that. This is actually, I've just had this idea for a prompt. We'll try it out later on, because it's so important to teach, to allow students, but also it's important for us as teachers to use these tools to make our lives easier. And even for us, when we use these tools, it's important to check the information it's provided. And I've worked with a few teachers now, and I've helped them teach, not really teach, because it's just a couple of tips. We'll discuss about, even today, we'll also discuss writing prompts for AI. But sometimes they said, this is not true, or this is not right. But the fact that it can provide a text that you can work on, so you don't have to start everything from scratch anymore. If you want to create a lesson, or if you want to create any little bit of information that you want to give your students, don't take AI word for word, whatever it said. Just use the text it provides you as a structure, correct it, make the necessary edits that you need on it, because it's really important for us as well to know how to sort of use it responsibly. Do you think, in your experience with teachers, do you think this is a challenge teachers face, or do you think this is something, the critical thinking part, do you think it's in terms of technology, because obviously teachers are equipped with it's a very important skill for our job, but do you think it works as well in technology in terms of relationship with with technology, as in, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
No. You can complete it. No problem.
I was just thinking maybe my question seemed a little bit off, so I was thinking of a way to rephrase it, but if you got what I was asking, then that's fine. I see it in your eyes that you got it, so
Yeah. Yes, so critical thinking in relationship to technology is even more important, I would say, than it is, because in the end, like what you were saying, that we are the ones who will be faced with charges and not the tool. If we use it without reflecting on it, without checking out the sources or without checking out anything, and we say, okay, for example, as a lawyer, if the person is just, putting everything, the whole case over there and uses it as it is, it's not going to work. It's happened already in America. So it's always the person who is responsible and liable for that and not the tool. So yes, we have to be very careful about how we use the information that we get from the tools.
And also in terms of personalized education, because you did mention offering personalized feedback for sort of different bits of text that we can already use ChatGPT with. But I'm curious on, what do you think it will look like in the future? Because I've seen so many ideas of sort of being able to have like an AI assistant for each student to sort of answer them in real time during class. They can chat to the AI and ask them, what did the teacher mean here? How do you see this sort of landscape playing in the whole dynamics of going to class?
I think it's going to happen, but I'm not sure if it's going to happen inside the classroom. Personally, I feel the virtual assistant will be more like outside the classroom where the teacher is not available. And that's where they can get real time feedback, immediate feedback, ask for clarifications or feedback, as you said. But inside the classroom, that's the place where the discussions will take place, where they will be learning and discussing about what the world will look like, how they are going to, this is where they'll be presenting their ideas. This
Yeah.
is where the real communication is going to happen. And real thinking, and I would say real collaboration will happen. And this is where they're going to learn the skills.
That's really, yeah, because it's, again, going back to the concern of the teachers thinking they will become, obsolete, that teaching will no longer exist. The classroom environment has sort of proved to be the most efficient way, because humans do need interaction, physical interaction. So the classroom environment has proven to be the most efficient way to teach people, especially children, but people in general. So that will stay. And I agree with you on this. I know that there are some people that have been saying that, we will only have virtual schools and everybody will be in front of a computer all day. I don't think that's necessarily true, because we do need each other, and the pandemic has taught us that so well. I'm not sure. I think we've all had different experiences during the pandemic, but most of us have missed human interaction and the whole going to class. What about ITC? Did you guys do in person? Did you guys do online classes, or did you
Only
wait for?
only for certain people and for certain courses, but most of the courses, no, also because it's an Erasmus Plus course, and it asks for mobility. So it's a mobility agreement. So that means that the teachers have to travel to another place to have the course. So it's because of the nature of how the courses are conducted. It's different because they can't just switch to online in their program. Like teachers were probably not really their main, discussion under discussion for that thing. So I guess that nothing changed, and that scenario didn't change. So now that COVID is sort of over, the teachers have started traveling again, and so the courses are taking place, but they stopped during that time.
Mm-hmm.
Except for some in-country courses, Erasmus courses didn't take place.
Yeah, so it's because it is a model that you sort of need, and the whole in-person thing, and that's why even with the arrival of AI, we don't think, I guess, that this will go away. Of course, there might be cases, or there might be more cases of totally online education, but I don't think it will be the norm.
No, it's not going to be the norm. Like you said, we really need the human touch. And second thing is that we do need more, there's more emphasis on social emotional learning from the teacher's side now in the institutions, because like you mentioned, during COVID, people suffered.
Mm-hmm.
And so social emotional learning has taken more emphasis. It's become more important, which so AI cannot do. That's where, like, it doesn't have the emotions, the experience behind that, the memories that people can connect in that sort of way. AI cannot do that, not yet.
And I have another question. This actually came to us via the form from the registration, and I've sort of rephrased it a little bit. But the idea is, how can teachers who don't have a lot of experience in using digital tools in general, how can they sort of approach and start using AI in any way? And how can they start integrating AI tools in their process?
Well, I mean, there are some tools, as we said, and I would also say LIVRESQ for that matter, because teachers are no longer like content providers. So AI can help them with that, where they can have like flipped classroom, for example, and the content is being provided at home. The students know a lot. There are simple tools. And if the content is already there, then the teachers can integrate it. And it's a little bit of work for them, for sure. They have to learn a bit, because if they don't learn, then they will be the ones who will be left behind.
Yeah,
So it's best all these workshops, and this workshop with you is also helping them to get to that level. And it's simple. It's not really that difficult. And as I mentioned, ChatGPT as well, it's not a very difficult tool to use. It's more like talking to a person. And if you can really communicate with people, then you should be able to communicate with at least that particular tool.
yeah. Before we move on, actually, we got a comment on Facebook, so that's why I wanted to. I'm sort of stopping you before we move on with the actual demonstration, in which we can show people how they can chat and how they write sort of useful and cohesive prompts. We have a comment on Facebook. This is related to a former part of our discussion. Of course, we can check if students have proper argumentative skills in speaking, but they also have written exams, for example, where they're expected to produce written answers. And I think it's in relation to what we said about reconfiguring how we teach them writing. Do you have any ideas on how we can give them a writing task at home, but not necessarily, and making sure that they don't use ChatGPT, or if they use it, how?
Then the writing task, what I mostly say is it's best to do it inside the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
You can definitely give them writing tasks, but give them shorter writing tasks so that they can do it in the classroom. Reading, writing, all of that. When you're giving it as homework, you have to think of it more as a reading task if they are using the tools, the AI tools at home. And then you have a discussion on that inside the classroom. So you can have a discussion on how to write, like how would you write it differently? How did ChatGPT write it for you? And what changes would you like to make in that? Like, how would you have presented it differently? can you rewrite the thing in your own words? Like, you can actually play with that a bit and even discuss like what kind of writing was that.
Yeah, it's also interesting. I did this once. I gave them one text written by AI and one text written by humans, just to notice if they can tell the difference. And voting on that is just a really fun activity to do, and it sort of changes the way they think about writing and tools in general. Because some of you think you can identify some things. Obviously, this might be a question that will come up. I don't think that these tools will be efficient in any way, form, or even ChatGPT can sometimes not recognize if a text was written using ChatGPT. So there'll always be ways around these tools of identifying AI generated content. But it's really interesting to see what a human mind is AI generated. Just a second, I think someone has their mic turned on, and there's a little bit of okay. I think I can hear it from your computer. Yeah, it's your computer. So if you can just turn on your mic when you want to speak, otherwise I'm doubled. But now that we've sort of presented AI a little bit in general and in the context of education, what I'd like to show you and what I'd like to test, we would like to test, because that's what we're doing, to sort of see what it can do. I'm going to show you a little bit of what we've been doing in LIVRESQ in terms of integrating AI, and sort of telling you about our plans for the future, because we do have a tool now available only for paid accounts, where you can use ChatGPT 4. So that's the paid version right now. For free, you can get ChatGPT on the app. You can get 3.5, but through LIVRESQ you can access ChatGPT 4, and you can ask it questions, and we'll see exactly how. In the future, we plan to also have an image generator, so to integrate that aspect of it. So you'll be able to ask for an image, and you'll be able to generate it straight from LIVRESQ without having to use a third-party AI tool. And eventually, we will get to the point where you'll be able to generate an entire lesson. So not just a little bit of text, not just images for your lessons, but you can ask for a lesson on any topic you think or you want, and you'll be able to generate that lesson. And then, of course, edit. Like we said, that critical thinking aspect, that critical way to look at content and sort of change what AI is doing. But without further ado, let me just show you very quickly in a project how it works and how we've integrated it. So I'm just creating a new project. For those who've never worked with LIVRESQ before, there are some tutorials on YouTube. I'm sort of just jumping straight to the AI tool. And as I've mentioned, we've only integrated this on the text resource. So if you add a text through drag and drop to your project, like I've done now, this is the text resource, the text box. On the right side, where there are properties, you'll also see the AI enhancer tool, which allows you either to rephrase a text, which can be anything, and then you just select the number of characters you wanted to rephrase your text in. So for instance, if we just go ahead and take something from our website and we ask it to rephrase, this is not that spectacular. It's useful in terms of educational content, but not just AI can do this. Not just ChatGPT can do this. A lot of other tools can do it. And let's just say I want it to make it longer. We'll just click rephrase. It takes a while, just like ChatGPT. It takes a while to load, but then we just have another 500 character long text. And when we click use, it's practically imported directly into your lesson. So you don't need to open another window, talk to ChatGPT, ask it to rephrase something. You can just rephrase it by pasting it there in the AI text rephraser, rephrase it, and then by clicking use, you can just add it to your lesson. But besides the rephrasing tool, we also have the actual text generation tool. So I've added another text resource here, and I'm going to use now the AI text generator. Again, I can select the size of the answer. So it can start from 200 characters all the way to 5,000 characters. It counts characters, not words. So bear that in mind. But basically, here it just turns into what you're used to with ChatGPT. You can ask it a question or ask it to do something, and it will automatically do it. So for instance, if I wanted to ask it just like a very short sort of revealing example, give me 3 examples of sentences using the present simple. For which a student will have to complete the correct form of the verb. And I'll ask it for large because I'm thinking I should just let it decide how many characters it wants to use. This is not a very well-written prompt, by the way, and I'll ask my friend to correct me because I think I could have done a better job at writing this prompt. It's kind of clear, but my main goal was to test present simple. I'm giving English-related examples, but if you teach anything else, ask us in the comments and we can find examples for basically any sort of. You don't have audio anymore. Okay, hold on just a minute. Is it okay now? When I turn on the microphone, when you turn on your microphone, I can hear myself. Just give us a second. A little bit of technical difficulties. Output. I will, in the meantime, until we solve these problems, I will just show you the answers it gave me on a not a very well written prompt, but it was basically able to understand what I meant and to give me examples that work. So to give me exactly what I wanted, basically. But the idea when creating a prompt is to give it as much information, but in a very, very clear way. So if I would have said it differently, I want to test present simple for students of, and it's a good idea even to give them a few information about this, for students from age whatever to age whatever, and I want to test them in 3 sentences. Sort of, it just, the main idea is to be as clear and specific as possible. Let's see if it's any better. Just a second. Let me just stop my share for a second and see if I can share my screen. Can you hear us now? Let's see. No. Okay. Then we'll just communicate in chat. And I will, for our Facebook audience, I'll just provide the comments I'm getting. Hold on. So I'm going to ask her. Oh, okay, you can hear us now. Okay, I was just gonna say, I'm going to ask you for a few tips on how to write good prompts for any sort of text generation AI.
So first thing is like you have to keep in mind whatever you want, and you have to explain it in detail exactly as you explain to a person. So it's not like you want it to change it into like shorter text, or you want different wording and you say reword. It's like, what kind do you want? You have to explain exactly like you explain to a person. So, because I don't know what were you talking about before, so I missed the context. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I was just saying that this is maybe not a very well written prompt, because I sort of, instead of giving it like, I would, for instance, for a good prompt, for the way I think of a good prompt, I would start by telling it what I wanted to test. So I want to test present simple. And then I would ask it, give me 3 examples, but I'd also give it an idea of a level, either age or level of language.
Yes, exactly.
Which is something that I failed to do. So as a teacher, when you're trying to get it to, especially for assignments, but for any sort of content, it's really important to give it specific details regarding who your students are. Target, the whole marketing or even e-learning target audience thing is really, really important to know who your students are. And that's when it will really shine and be able to tailor content.
Yes.
So if anyone from our meeting or on Facebook wants us to try anything, if not, do you want us to try anything? Do you have any ideas of things we can try? We can ask it and see what it does with it. Can you hear me?
That's, are you asking me or the others?
Yeah, sorry. I have this, because we're not in person. We were talking about the advantages of being in person. I was looking straight at you, and then I realized, oh wait, we are online.
Yes.
So do you have anything in mind, or is there an example you use when you show teachers the text generation or ChatGPT in general?
I actually let them do a bit of like feel around, that they try to test it, and yes, so they try to create lessons. For example, there were some primary school teachers who wanted to teach a lesson on fruits. And it created, yeah, you also have to give it time, like I need a lesson on fruits for this age, for 8 years old, 8 years old students, and for 40 minutes. And then it gave them a whole lesson plan on that. So you can also try that if you want.
Yeah,
Like, um,
I
and
need a
you're
lesson,
creating a lesson. Okay. So how about photosynthesis?
a lesson plan.
About,
We can even do fruits and see what it gives us.
okay.
Fruits, for 8-year-olds, the lesson should take 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a lesson plan, just and I'm asking it to give it to me in 5,000 characters. It may need a little bit more space in order to create an entire lesson plan.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
While it thinks, one of the most interesting questions I got was from a physical education teacher who asked me, I don't normally use a computer during my classes, so how can I integrate, how can I use AI? And I thought back of this whole lesson planning and everything you have to do as a teacher in terms of bureaucracy, but also about ideas that you can use for games for physical education. And after we let it create our lesson plan, it's thinking, it takes a while. I would really be curious to see what it generates, what kind of games it will. Here we go. And now we click on use and we can see it. The whole thing about the way we've integrated the AI text generator is that it gives us a wall of text that we have to break down. Sort of that's the effort from the teacher. It gave us the duration, the objective of the lesson, materials. I won't separate each.
But yes, the numbers are there, so it's easier for the teachers to separate it.
Exactly. It's all like a list. So we have the introduction, which should last for 2 minutes, and you have first step and second step. Then you have the direct instruction, which lasts for 10 minutes. I'll separate it here. Okay. Again, 3 steps. The guided practice. So everything in terms of this whole bureaucratic exercise of having to do a lesson plan. You can even ask it to do it according to a structure. It can even create things according to set structures or to set rules in general. Okay. And then it even provides extensions. Have a fruit tasting party where students bring in different fruits to share with the class. So these cute ideas that I've discovered that it gives are actually really interesting, because now if we try to do the whole physical education exercise, I've added it next to it. I'm clicking the text resource again, and I'm going to ask it, give me 5 examples of activities I can use as a teacher. So I'm telling it who I am, so it can give me content tailored to me and how I would be able to use it as a teacher, to use for PE with a group of 10-year-olds. And then if I want something more specific, I can give it more details. I want the activities to be fun and engaging for my students. Hold on, I can use as a teacher to use. There we go. Sorry. I was writing and talking is not my strongest suit. So engaging for my students. And now let's see what it comes up with. And of course, you can do this for all levels, and it can help you. Any sort of AI tool actually can help you in your work, regardless of what you do. The reason why it was so important for us to bring it to LIVRESQ is that we keep saying this, and it's the reason why I love LIVRESQ the most, is that it was created with teachers in mind to sort of make their lives easier. And we realize that sometimes it can be a pain to sort of go to ChatGPT, take text from there, then come back to the lesson, edit it here. So it really offers you a way to communicate directly to it, not to mention access to GPT-4. So let's see what examples it gives us. Okay, and we have examples of a few games which, of course, you might have been able to find online if you did a lot of searching, but this just provides them for you on a plate, so to speak. So you can just look for them, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Of course, you can try all these exercises and see exactly what it comes up with, and to sort of see how it works. But generally, I think if there's a take-home message from all of this, is that AI, first of all, is not here to replace teachers. AI is here to help teachers and to sort of gives, because there were a lot of discussions about how it stifles creativity and how people won't be creative anymore because AI is doing everything for us, which isn't really true, because what I found in chatting to ChatGPT or in using the tool here is that it gave me so many ideas to become more creative. So I think this is sort of the main thing that we need to use AI for to enhance things. What do you think? Do you think we should do you have any take-home messages, or what do you usually, after they do your courses, what do teachers usually think about AI, especially those who've started, a little bit more apprehensive at first?
Yes, I mean, most of them actually fall in love with them, with it. And they're like, this is amazing. I can even do this. And it saves so much of time. And they're like, sometimes you come across like moments when there's a block that you feel as a teacher. You can't even think of questions on a text. And then AI can do that for you. So these simple things, you can say, I need these kind of questions, 3 open-ended questions, 3 multiple choice questions, or fill in the blanks, and it just does the work for you. And teachers go back refreshed, and they feel that a new energy, because it's like they have something to look forward to in their classes, that they can have more fun in the classes instead of just being content providers.
That's amazing. And actually, like with every discussion with you, I think it's maybe your effect as well, not just AI's effect, because I always feel more energized and really, frankly, happier after I speak to you.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for joining us today. Sorry about the technical issues. I'm glad that it was all solved.
Yes. Thank you for inviting me. And I must say that where the education is moving, and as I emphasized a lot, that we are not the content providers, we are the skill providers. So LIVRESQ really comes in handy, where LIVRESQ will provide the content for you, and instead of copy pasting, you use the AI features in LIVRESQ to create content for you. Of course, you have to check it.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. We have another question. Is it possible to include in this test points after answers? I'm not really sure I know what you mean. Can you perhaps rephrase the question a little bit? You mean to include more information about answers? Because basically you can ask it to include anything you need it to include. So if you want to provide feedback based on different answers that students give, even for multiple choice, further explanations, ask it, okay, so if a student gets the wrong answer and he makes this choice, which is wrong, can you explain to the student why the choice is wrong? So this is also possible. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I'm sorry, I veered off from the saying goodbyes. Okay, I'm glad we were able to. I was able to explain it. So we were veering off from the goodbyes, but again, thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to talk to you again, because we'll definitely keep talking. For anyone who wants to meet Smriti in person, you can do it at ITC. I keep saying ICT,
You're not the only one.
at ITC International. And you can check out their courses on their website, and all their courses, not just on AI, but on digital teaching in general. So thank you so much. And for everybody who's been here, thank you so much for being with us. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful evening, and thank you, Raluca, for having me here.
Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.